And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could be with us today. Have a great show coming up for you guys. We're about to connect with our friends over on Instagram and our friends over on Amazon Live. And I'll be able to tell you about who's joining us today. If you guys are joining us on the social media sites, we welcome you tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and on Instagram. We also welcome those tuning in on the Amazon Live platform as well. Ellen Sudderth of ESP Presents is back with us today. You know, as we're winding up 2024, we had to have her on to give her top books of the year. Some of them will surprise you because they don't necessarily come out this year, but we'll talk to her about how she compiled the list and also the great things she's doing as well. For those joining us on the Amazon side, we have a treat for you guys because you'll be able to see all the books we're talking about in the carousel. So all of Ellen's books, you'll be able to choose them for yourselves today. You guys are already coming in on YouTube. Hello, Wendy. Good to be able to see you. Wendy Orsad is over there. But Ellen, my friend, welcome back to the broadcast.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Well, look, the pleasure is definitely all mine. And we always have a good time when we're talking books here. So, Ellen, we're going to get into your list here in a bit. But I want to begin, though, by talking about this year. What has it been like for you to reflect on the year that's been 2024 for you?
Oh, it's been great. I did some reading. That's why you'll see my different type of where I got my book from. Some of them might be a little vintage, and some of them might be old because I'd spent my time hosting live shows. So I say, well, this book has been read. Why not play these new songs, if you will, these new books, maybe new to others, vintage to others. And I just wanted to compile that together and give them all a play. So that is what has been like for me, pretty busy doing live shows.
Yeah. So I want to talk about what you've been able to do with ESP Presents because I love your book chats and I love it when you say we bring books your way. I love it when you say, love to see you do
I
that
didn't
over
even know you was watching.
over.
Thank you,
You know, to you, Dr. Velma. Good, good to be able to see you, Dr. Velma,
ESP
over on Facebook.
Presents.
So talk to us about ESP Presents and how it all started.
Okay, ESP Presents and ESP Book Chats, where we bring page turners your way. Okay, okay. How it all got started is we were just regular moms. We had a parent involvement specialist event that we were doing at the elementary school. We were older women with younger kids, and we did a 1 week talk, and we really like got really close. I mean, like tears, because you don't, if you're a mom, and these days society calls it one of those moms who are older. I won't use the word they use, but I was had my last child at 35, needed some adult time, some adult people around, and so we grew close and we found out what each other like, and that's when we developed a book club. We started reading, uh, read Kimberly Lawson Roby book, and then that just dived us into reading, and we just continue on. It was a book club called Reading is What We Do. And I don't want to say that fold over, but life happened to other people. One girl, her husband passed, and we wanted to keep it. So then we started doing it more of a event where we brought authors in and celebrated them. So I wanted to give back. So that's how that started. That's how ESP Presents started.
Gotcha. Could you have imagined when you started it, Ellen, that it would grow into what it is, especially when it comes to using social media the way you've been able to do?
I wanted to grow. I imagined it that way, but not like this, Cyrus. I didn't know that really when we were doing the events on the outside, people, we come to events in certain different locations. They would come down from different walks of life. But I think since the pandemic, it made it easier because you can go online and be across the world. So that's to me what made it like bells and whistles and be able to reach even more authors.
Yeah. And now here you are again, being able to bring different types of books to your audiences and different authors as well. What about the interview component? Was that something that started from the very beginning, Ellen, or did you just incorporate that as the brand continued to grow?
It started kind of sort of live, like person to person, and
Hmm.
then it more started online. So I was always interviewing, but on
Okay.
a one-on-one, the internet caused that to be a one-on-one.
Got you. Got you. And now, of course, here you are in a position where you have your book chats. You're able to offer a platform for authors to come. We're going to let our audience know how they can be a part of that. What has it been like for you, Ellen, to be able to introduce readers to new authors through your program?
Oh, that has been great, Cyrus. I think that's one of the biggest thing that an author should hone into is getting that readership, and especially being new, a new author. We want them to have community. We wanted to bridge the gap where, one voice, one sound, where the readers and the authors will actually meet each other. Because for us, reading is what, when we were reading is what we do, and now ESP Presents, people didn't believe that a book club would have an author actually come to their, you know, their book reading. It wasn't like that at first, but to have it that way, that's what really makes it work. So I'm very excited about that. And I can just go on and on. I'm going to go off track being excited.
No, no, you're fine. So, and the other thing I love is that you're able to. One thing I've noticed in watching you, because I do watch, I'm not always able to catch them all live, but what I do when I'm able to watch, what I love is that you offer days where authors can come on for a couple minutes and just talk about their books. So I bring that up because outside of just doing what you do as a book lover, you also offer marketing services as well. How did that component start, Ellen, where you're able to work with authors and promoting their books?
Oh, that started. I wanted to have where the author would do our interview, and then the time would just go, even though it's 30 minutes. And so I wanted to incorporate more time. So we schedule it and we split the days up, and they don't mind coming back because we'll do chapter one, chapter two, and the readers can kind of dive in like we do. So that's kind of how that started, is because the time would just go so fast.
Hmm. Dr. Velma says Ellen was one of my early supporters. I enjoyed my interviews with her. And so you've been able to interview bestsellers like Dr. Velma and others as well. Talk to us about that experience for you as a reader. What has that been like for you to read a book and then to be able to have an opportunity to interview and talk with the author?
Oh, Cyrus, that was one of my goals. I always believed that I would read an author's book and meet them. I just always believed that I will. And I did. I read Kimberly Lawson Roby's book, wrote her and just told her, hey, why can Curtis Black be good? Is he going to change? And I just emailed her, I'm not even thinking that it would happen. And
Mhm.
so it did. She wrote me back. It was actually her. And then I'm like, wow. And that let me know that you have your superstars or your actress and stuff, and that's what authors, and even yourself as an author, is to me, is more of a Hollywood type thing. And so to do that, that has been very exciting. Not only that, I didn't start off with indie readers, authors, or those who were newly published. My first debut started off with New York Times bestsellers and has been New York Times bestsellers all along. And then there were indie authors. So it
Yeah.
has been an exciting ride.
Joining us from Canada, we have Miss Tessa Marie. Tessa Marie, good to be able to see you over there. Also, we have Stacey Thomas joining us over there on Instagram as well. Glad you could be with us as well. For those that are just tuning in, welcome. You all are watching Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. This is where we are primarily broadcasting, but we are simulcasting for Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and on Instagram. We're joined by the one, the only Ellen Sudderth of ESP Presents. We're talking with her today about her 2024, but also we're about to dive into her top 20 books of 2024. We're going to let you guys know how she compiled the list, and then we're going to go through the books. Wendy says something that's really good. Wendy says authors are very tangible. So true. I mean, the majority of authors I've connected with have always been very easy to deal with, and that's great as well. But I want to also, Ellen, Ellen gives me a hard time, y'all, but I want to give you your flowers, Ellen, and say that you, though, are providing such a valuable service. Faith Healing Prayers Patience. Oh, I like that name. Hello to you over there on IG. And so I want to thank you for the great work you're doing with authors. How does that feel for you, Ellen, to know that you're giving some authors their very first platform or opportunity to be able to come on and talk about their book with others?
That is very exciting. The goal is always to thrive for the new authors. For me, I don't care if they're new. I don't care if they just got their book yesterday or if they just opened the box right in front of us. I feel that that's the best place to be, ground zero. Get the authors while they're ground zero so that they can just kind of mash with others. And one of the things that new writers, they don't have readership, they don't have community. And so I hone in on that and let them have that opportunity because there is joy at ground zero.
Yeah, such a great thing. So again, Ellen is here because she's going to be, of course, telling you guys how you can be able to stay connected with her and work with her. But we're about to dive into her top 20 books for 2024. Now, Ellen, I like what you said earlier, and this is a great analogy. You basically said, because I kind of teased earlier that not all the books on your list were actually published in 2024. I love the fact that you called it almost like being able to go through your playlist of music. And so you may have some that's more new, some that is older. Tessa Marie says, yes, Ellen does amazing work, encouraging authors to tell their story. Totally agree with that, Tessa Marie. So talk to us again about how this year's list was compiled, and was it an easy list to put together?
Definitely not an easy list to put together. How it's compiled, I put them in genres. And
Okay.
then I list them, not necessarily because they're from the bottom up, that they are not rated, as such, as a standalone, if you will. And so to compile these, I didn't do a lot of reading books this year. I did a lot of shows, live author shows. So I say, I
Okay.
want to make this list. And so I knew that some of them were vintage, and I'm like, okay, I hope Cyrus is okay with some vintage being in there. And so I see that you're okay. And I just compile it together with vintage and 2024. I said, why not play some of those records that's been played before? That's the way I gave that analogy. And thank you for liking that.
Yeah, yeah, your literary records. I like that. So, okay, so without further ado, then Ellen, let's start off with number 20. Now, for you guys joining us on the Amazon side, okay, if you guys are joining us on Amazon, you will be able to see the books highlighted as Ellen goes through them. If you're not joining us on Amazon, what are you doing? No, I'm just joking. You can. There's a link that will bring you guys over to Amazon, so you can be able to see the full list. We also will be having it for you guys as well. But Ellen, let's begin with number 20.
Okay, number 20, Dan Duffy, if I say his name right. His book, if you would say the title from there, that way I can just go ahead on with
Oh,
the way I
sure.
feel
I'm
about
sorry.
these
Yeah,
books.
yeah. The half book. He's taking his ball and going home.
Okay, with that book, I saw it was a very humorous book that talks about testicular cancer. And so this was a very amazing book where they use someone's health as a humorous thing to get by. You remember they say that laughter is medicine for the soul. And so I like the way he did that and took control and become an advocate for his health. And so with him doing that, he showed a very humorous backdrop, but serious about a man having testicular cancer. So I like that.
Okay. Number 19, the author is actually joining us live, and this is going to be a nice surprise because I happen to have my copy of the book right here, The Five Pillars of Prosperity.
Yes, I love this. Tessa Marie is very amazing, breathtaking. And when she talked about the prosperity, we often, as her and I speak of, we often think about money. And so she talks about health. And she talks about spirituality and also mental and emotional and financial. So that's what I like about that book. It just had all of those components that you need to have. Nowadays, we know with what was happening with pandemic, people are more concerned about health being their wealth. So that's what I liked about that one.
Congrats, Tessa Marie. So you got a little surprise up in there, Tessa Marie. See what you get for joining us live. Number 18, moving and being productive in the midst of loss.
Now, this one was very, very special to me. This talks about grief. And so, Carol J. Williams, she talks about grief. And not only that, she lost a lot of things herself. She was molested at a young age, she lost her mother. And when I got this book, I began to read it, and it really kind of coaches you along through the journey of grieving. And while I was reading her book, I had no idea that I was going to lose my nephew and my niece back to back. And so this helped me in the grieving process. She also let you know in the book is when you're grieving, you do all kinds of things. Like you give up your home, you give up all these things. And she give us a journey through just kind of reset yourself and just kind of calm down before you get into things because you're grieving and you just end up losing it all. So I like that about her book.
Love that. Love that. Next up is number 17, Musing of an Autistic Mind.
Do you have that one? Did you know of that book, Cyrus?
I did not. I did not know about that one.
Yes. This book here talks about autism. Not only does it speak of autism, but the writer has autism himself. And so, what I like about that, I call it an impeccable read because who knows more than autism than a person with autism? It talks about how it's awkward socially, dating, and also dry humor. So, it tells you how, like, in their world, if you will, what is it like with us society on the outside looking in? So I really love that. That was a great read.
Love that. The next one is one I was telling Ellen. I actually hosted her in her first visit to Mississippi, that being Diane Hassan's book, Angels Among Us, Even in Iraq.
This book here, I fell in love with history again. Is I saw, I'm like, Diane, because I got a chance to speak with her as well. Is I'm like, you're part of history. The different people that she named in the book and what is going on in the book is part of our history at best. So I see it as a reader's bird's eye view of what it's like with her and her family living in Iraq, although it is turmoil and things happening, bombs over the houses and things. She found peace in the midst of the storm. So I really like that book.
I want to share this picture with you and our audience, Ellen, from 2012, when I actually got a chance to host Diane. There you can see us together
Wow.
in Mississippi. Also with Mississippi author Joseph Henderson there as well. But yeah, that was us together back in 2012. I actually still have that sweater. How sad is that? But anyway, we're moving on.
It's not sad that you have it, but if you can still wear it, that's awesome.
I can still wear it.
Yes!
I can still wear
You are great.
The next one I do have that is on your list, The Bodies Keep Coming.
Oh my goodness. Amazing person to talk to. Brian, I met him through his sister. Not that I saw him in real time, but her. And
Okay.
the bodies keep coming is when the things that was happening in Texas is he's a black surgeon, and he also himself. Because you think because you're black and you're a surgeon that you'll be well respected. So those things, what he did, he kind of pushed in the back burner. Although that he was not respected as a black surgeon, there was even times when he and I talked about how the patients would say, "Can you get the real doctor?" And so those things like that is a trauma surgeon on racism and violence and how we heal. So I really like that. That was an amazing story as well.
Yeah. The next book is actually one that I not only, Wendy on Amazon says that was a very good read. The Bodies Keep Coming. I totally agree. The next one is a book that I only read, I'm a part of, and that is Being a Black Man. It's Harder Than You Think.
Yes, I got to see that. And I'm like, OMG, Cyrus, I couldn't believe it. You didn't tell me that one. But anyway, I had to read it and read all about it. And so she took 28 black men and interviewed them about the systemic things that going on. What have they encountered being a black man? So I thought that was pretty good. And with me having a daughters first, I never felt that way until I had a son about the different things going on. So it gives a good backdrop, not only just stereotype backdrop. It kind of leaves you that, yeah, these are all men of different ages, different walks of life, that things do happen. But what got me, Cyrus, in this is that one guy, and since you're in the story, you probably noticed already, she asked about if you're darker skinned or if you're lighter skinned, do you get a different uh, thing socially when it comes to being stopped by police? And so those who may read this would be shocked to hear those different conversations. So good
Yeah.
read.
Yeah, totally agree. Shout out to Tennille for putting that together. I was glad to be a part of it. Next up, we're going to move into something a little bit lighter, some fiction with Fallen Leaves.
Yes, Suzette Perkins. This book is going to put you in a lot of emotion. So we read this book one, and we'll be reading book two. But in this story, you got to hold on to your emotions because you're going to feel some kind of a way. And to backdrop the things that really happen in our world that is in her book, and it's not like we never heard it, seen it, but we felt it. And so I like this. It's about healing, sibling rivalry, and also you will see in here illness, mental illness. She deals with quite a bit of things. So I really like that one.
Yeah. The next one I have not read either, and that is Confessions in B Flat.
OMG. Um, Earl Sewell, you'll see him, he narrated this book. But seeing this, you have Anita, who has the platform of Malcolm X, and then you have the guy. He is the gentleman in this story. He has the Dr. Martin Luther King backdrop. I was led to believe before I read this book that Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were feuding against each other, but what I saw was that they just had a different platform. And to
Yeah.
have Anita in the story to do the Malcolm X, it gave it to me a much softer, and then it's a poetic love type of thing where you see the two people. Jason is his name. You see them trying to have a love affair, but because of their different opposing backdrop and their stance, it's kind of difficult. So I really like that. She did a wonderful job with that.
All right. Next up is another one I haven't read, The Lost.
OMG, YA book. I really like this. Natasha did really good in this book where you see some lost teens, and you'll see, you won't, in the book, you won't know, hey, did these teens run away or were they abducted? And so you'll be shocked to see who the captor is. So this was a very good book where you see Piper and her friend, um, and they try to do their own PI work, and they get a lot more than they expected to happen.
Interesting. G Gonzalez, hello to you over there on IG. For those who are just coming in, I see you guys over there on Facebook is coming in as well. You all are watching Cyrus Webb Presents. We're joined today by Ellen Sudderth. Ellen is the founder of ESP Presents. We're talking with her about her top 20 books of 2024. It's that time of year. This is, I think, the third year you've been on with us, Ellen, isn't it? Bringing your top 20, I think it is.
I think it's
Um,
the second for the top 20, but we were on for something else. Might be the third. I didn't
okay.
see that other video. I don't know what happened to it.
Oh, are
I
you are you
don't know what happened.
are you accusing me of something there?
I don't know what happened to it. It wasn't in the top 20. It was
Hey,
labeled something else.
it may be in the Lost. I don't know. Wendy, Wendy says the Lost is a good read as well. All right, then we're going to move on to our next book, number 10, which I just happen to have here.
What?
One of my favorite books, Little Fires Everywhere.
Oh my goodness. Didn't you just love Izzy?
Hmm.
And Izzy, I really like her. She's the black sheep of the family. And I think she kind of brings her family together with the, make it a lot more sounder. But, they didn't really pay attention to her. She was a lot brighter than what I thought she was, than her family. So you're wondering, you see Miss Robinson light up the house. So we think the house is burning down. She don't even go see what's going on. But then Izzy is accused of dropping the match and just run. Her little brother tells her, there's Izzy running with matches. So I really love this story. It brings together a dark, dark secret and backdrop of their family. So Izzy is like the one that moves the story along as well as being the black sheep.
Love that. Love that. So it is really a great book. All right, we're getting down to the nitty gritty now, Ellen. We're at number 9, All the Broken People. I'm going to highlight it for our audience over on Amazon.
Oh my goodness. So you see here broken people who want friendship, And one of the characters, you guys will see, I'm not going to try to remember characters' names though, but one of the characters, she gets a little jealous of her friendship uh, that her friend has uh, with another person. And now I don't like giving the stories away. And
Mhm.
so you'll see there's some mayhem and there's some who did it and who's really a friend, what is really going on. And you'll see all of that in this story, but it is a really good story, and you find out that those broken people are some are more broken than others.
Interesting. I love that as a teaser. Hello to you, Kenneth. Good to be to see you over there on the Facebook side. Wendy on Amazon said that was a good read too. Little Fires Everywhere. Gathering Blue comes up at number 8. Ellen.
I really like Gathering Blue. It was flawed people. Um, Here you have a little orphan girl who mom she passed, and so coloring blue has something to do with her talent. So in this village, the community threw or discard people who were flawed, and so you'll see that this little orphan girl, she has a good gift, and so they kind of overlook that flaw she has for this beautiful gift that she have in Gathering Blue.
Love that. Love that. All right. We are now at number 7. Lenny Gray.
OMG. Lenny Gray, and also with Earl Sewell. He does voiceovers. He did the Confession and B Flat. He was a voiceover there. And doing his own project is amazing. You have Lenny Gray, who is a product of a her mother, Jenny Pearl, who now I can remember these character names because I really love this. Jenny Pearl, who was you may not hear this that much in these days and time, who was an octoroom, and she was bred to be a rich white guy's mistress. So he makes a lot of money. He's gone away a lot, and she falls in love with Lenny Gray's dad, Judge. And when she falls in love with him, not only has she fallen in love with him, but she got pregnant by him, and the baby was a little bit too brown to stay in the house. So I like this story, and you guys will love it. Check that
Interesting.
story out.
All right. Number 6, Green Haven.
Woo! Luca Di Matteo did a wonderful time. I had a wonderful time reading this book. You have Nurse Kathy Ardens, who was framed for what was going on there is a nursing home where the rich can continue to live the rich lifestyle and to live the duration of their life in Green Haven. But what Kathy Nurse Arden finds out that people are dying, and so, with her finding out and discovered that something is not right with this Green Haven rich for the rich folks, and that's when everything go haywire.
Interesting. All right. We're going to move right along then to number 5, After Anna.
After Anna is a wonderful story. You have Maggie, who suffered from postpartum depression, and she tells her husband, her beloved husband, that she's suffering. And so he take that and he betrays her, takes the daughter, raised the daughter against her mother. So that was the great betrayal. And you'll see a lot of things that's happening. There's a court trial that you don't want to miss.
Okay. All right. So that was After Anna with number 5. Now we move into number 4. Everybody get ready. The number 1 book is coming up, but number 4 is Little Voices.
Vanessa Lilly, love this story. This too is a story of a woman who is suffering from postpartum, but she tries to figure out who murdered her friend Belinda. And she is absolutely suffering from postpartum. She has a beloved husband who's trying to get her to understand that she's not well, but
Hmm.
she still goes on this quest, and there's some bizarre things that happen, and you will see her, you're like, why is she endangering this baby? But when you go through the story, you will connect what is really happening with her.
All right. All right, Ellen. We're down to the last 3.
Yes.
Number three, Inconvenient Scandal.
This one I love by Jacqueline Mitchard. Here you have two wonderful friends, Frankie and her friend Ariel. They grew up together around the neighborhood. Her mother, Frankie's mother, has passed, and her dad is a widowed. He's widowed, and he finds a new relationship. But that new relationship is her best friend,
Mm,
Ariel. So she comes home. Frankie comes home to her town to tell her father her wonderful news that she's pregnant and engaged. Her father tells her the same thing. Ariel is having a baby and it's mine. So that betrayal turns very scandalous, and you guys will see in there. This is a scandal at best. You would love it.
okay. We're down now to the last two books from Ellen Sutter's Top 20 Books 2024. Anthony Clark, hello to you over there on IG. I see you. Number two, Perfect Peace.
Perfect Peace. Absolutely love what Daniel Black did with this book. You have Emma Jean, who has seven sons. She raised her seventh son as a girl, convinced everybody. And back in those days, I had to think, why did you get over with that? But after reading the story and talking to Dr. Daniel, you will see that in that time, men did not go in the room. They had midwives that, delivered babies, and they just didn't go in the room. So I
Mm,
see how she got over with it, but it cost her. It cost her a lot. Her son on his seventh birthday was told that you wasn't born a girl, you were a boy. So you guys have to unfold that story.
okay, Wendy Arsad says Perfect Peace is a read of all reads. And Miss Queenie Clem is joining us over on Amazon. She says, great read, Perfect Peace. All right, so that brings us then to the number one pick. We've gone through 19 of Ellen Sutter's top 20 of 2024. And yes, I am prolonging it on purpose. So we can now have some suspense for the number
Yes,
one
yes.
book that I'm now highlighting for you guys on the carousel on the Amazon side. So you guys can see me over there going through the books. And we're now about to highlight the one that is number one that I have read, Don't Cry for Me.
OMG, Cyrus. We live in this time, that it's okay for them, like, say, to come out the closet or whatever. But here you have Jacob, and if from you reading the story, what I'm saying. You have Jacob the father, who is estranged from his son, who is gay. He felt like he lost out on having children. What would happen to the heritage? The lineage is just gone. Well, you have his mother who, she loves her son. So with this, you will see Jacob. He wrote a letter on his dying bed to his son about how he treated him, how he wanted to, in my words, have a do-over. And so this to me was a great story. And some of our people, we have people that have a different lifestyle. And so, do we not love them? We should still love them and move forward. So, that is my number one. And it really tugs at the heart.
And Amazon has alerted me that one's actually on sale on a limited deal right now as well. So for audience out there, let's see. Wendy says Dr. Daniel is a great storyteller. He leaves his readers in awe. Miss Queenie Clem says, OMG, yes, love that book. And Dr. Bim says, interesting topic. So great lists here, Ellen. So glad you could come on Amazon Live here. As Cyrus represents, our humble little show here, and share your list with us. We appreciate that. Even though,
I knew
you
something was coming. I knew something.
no, just say even though you pick on me occasionally in the chats when you're a guest, I mean,
You
I
told me
can.
you were going to be good, and it's not you. You said, this is not me. It's my
What? I'm
twin.
just saying. I'm just making a
You said it
statement.
was your twin. You said it was
I
your
know.
twin. You
Yes.
asked me. I never did it.
Oh, so you say it wasn't you? Is that what you're saying?
That's round.
I just want it on record. That's all I want.
I get with you.
So, like the top 20 from Ellen Sudderth of ESP Presents. Ellen, thank you so much for dropping by. How can our viewers and listeners stay connected with you?
They can connect with me on everything ESP Presents, and you can email me at mrssuds@yahoo.com.
Dr. Velma says, Ellen, he says that to everyone, be careful. Dr. Velma, he's supposed to be on my side.
You know what, Dr. Velma, I found out if he don't mess with you, he don't like you.
Oh, and I like everybody. Dr. Velma says, great conversation. Great conversation for sure. Ellen, so glad to have you and looking forward to you coming back next year.
Oh, I definitely do. Thank you
All right.
so much.
More than welcome. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. Wendy says this was fun. Thank you for that, Wendy. I appreciate it. I'm used to, dealing with, the challenges that can come with this job. And I just do the best I can. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Oh, my goodness. Cyrus, you said you was going to be good.